assist by.
Today's opening tip. Richard, you have become a pickleball player here in the bubble.
I'm terrible at it.
I mean, you're terrible at a lot of things that aren't basketball, but how competitive are these games? Because you're out there, today you were out there with Scott Foster, and you guys have had some words on the
court. Well, look, I play in the rain. I'll play in anything. Look, when you got a week in the hole and you only get to walk back and forth to testing, and the only physical activity quarantine is the hole. When you only physical activity you get to see is people playing pickleball, you're like, it's either that or the gym. I'll see you guys on the court. Who wants some? I'm ready. I'm ready.
Oh, boy. By the way, Richard's quarantine came with Xbox, right?
Xbox, Oculus,
TV.
All the stuff. And
yeah,
I know for a fact I would not last a day in prison.
It was really rough. Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols. And on that note, I am joined by 2016 NBA champ Richard Jefferson and our NBA insider, senior writer Ramona Shelburne. Great to have you both on with us today. Coming up, we're going to talk about the Eastern Conference Finals. They don't resume until Wednesday, so who does the long layoff benefit more, the Heat or the Celtics? We will discuss. First, though, let's get to last night. For years, Anthony Davis was a very big boy who didn't get a chance to play at the big boy level. All that talent and size and touch and work ethic. For nearly a decade in the league, all it had added up to was the P word, potential. Maybe he could be one of the true greats of his generation, but honestly, how would we know for sure when we never got to see him past the second round of the playoffs? Well, we learned a little bit more last night when the Lakers got themselves into quite the situation, down one in a game they had largely led with just 2.1 on the clock, and Denver looking like it was about to assert itself in these Western Conference Finals. For LA, there would only be one chance, one shot. So Rajon Rondo asked Frank Vogel if he could be the one to do the inbounds. And as Rondo stood there on the sideline, a human computer just analyzing every matchup currently on the floor, his eyes fell on AD. The two had played together in New Orleans, so Rajon knew just not how dangerous AD could be, but just how many years Davis had yearned to show it. And boy, did he once the ball got in his hands. On the move, and wow, money. Now, for a few hours after the game, there was a lively internet debate on exactly what Mason Plumlee was doing on this play, calling for the switch when no one was screening him. But honestly, fixating on that is missing the point. Anthony Davis is a 6'10 center who, when given the chance to make the game winner 26 feet from the basket under absurd pressure, hit an absolutely beautiful, clean three. Afterward, Rondo called it the biggest shot of AD's life so far, and then added this.
Watching him grow, obviously I played with him a couple years back, and to where he's come now, he's always been a dominant force for any opponent he's ever played against, but see him grow and hit a shot in this type of environment, Western Conference Final doesn't really get any bigger than this.
It sure is big to hit this kind of shot. And watch how he celebrated. Poor Talen Horton-Tucker, by the way. Hey, Rook, what can I tell you? Sometimes victory has a price.
Such a little butt down.
Woo, the whole team celebration was crazy. But AD and LeBron James in particular had such a special exchange. You know, it was LeBron who AD had gone to back in March after he missed a near identical shot in a game against Brooklyn. That had actually turned out to be the Lakers' final game before the NBA shut down, and Davis became consumed by being that. That was how he had left things.
I mean, Brian, I tell you, the first, 4 days, I was talking to him like, damn, I should have made that shot for you. Like, I got to make that shot for you. And he was like, man, you're fine. And then I knew that I was going to have an opportunity, tonight to make, almost that same exact shot from the same exact spot. It's for sure the biggest shot of my career, and I just want to be able to compete for a championship. And I know that, moments like this comes with it.
Right after AD did hit that shot last night, as he was running back to the bench, he yelled, Kobe, just like so many kids do after they hit an imaginary big game winner in their driveways. Of course, for Davis and the Lakers, that comes with so much more weight now. They have dedicated this postseason to Kobe's memory. And last night, we're even wearing their Kobe tribute black snakeskin-themed jerseys. Kobe, of course, wrote himself indelibly into the history books of the sport by coming up big in those big boy moments. Now, finally, Anthony Davis has the chance to try following in his footsteps. And so far, he is making the most of it. Richard, what did you see as the significance of that shot?
Well, I was always told and taught very young, there are players that don't want those shots. Mm-hmm. There are players that want those shots, and there are players that can make those shots. Though there are three different types of players. And so you watch Anthony Davis, and I remember I was at that game. I was doing the Brooklyn Laker game, and even Kevin Durant's face was just like, oh, he's going to make this. So to get that exact same shot in the exact same spot at a much higher level shows you that he's mentally starting to figure it out. He doesn't let past failures, mess with him. He's like, I'm going to have another opportunity, and when I get that second opportunity, I'm going to knock it down. So I don't want to say without that failure in the Nets game, would he have been successful here? No, but his thought process starts to change of like, yo, I'm going to be in these moments. Start to slow your heart rate down. Start to slow your breathing down. Start to zero in. Start to focus. And so I think in that moment, we started to see the growth of Anthony Davis.
Look, it's all about muscle memory, right? You make that shot once and you have that memory in your muscles and in your brain and in your heart that you can do it again. And I think even I know we don't want to dissect what happened on the defensive end of that, where Mason Plumlee runs into LeBron and Jeremy Grant is looking at it like, should I switch? Should I not? But it's so metaphoric for exactly what just happened for the Lakers and for Anthony Davis and LeBron James and their relationship. LeBron James didn't do anything. He's just standing there. He didn't set a pick. He didn't make a move to make a shot. But he's so important to what the Lakers do, and they're so focused on LeBron James. They forgot Anthony Davis is out there about to hit the game-winning shot. And I think that's a reminder, and it was a huge confidence boost to Anthony Davis. Like LeBron might be the point guard. He might have finished second in the MVP voting, but you are the future of this team, and they're not going to win by just LeBron carrying them there. LeBron has to teach Anthony Davis how to win, and I think that was a big lesson last night. And now he feels that. Now he knows that next time that shot comes up.
Yeah, and look, Ramona mentioned it, the defensive breakdown. Richard, I know you've been itching to talk about this. Please discuss what happened defensively for the Nuggets there.
Well, look, everybody's talking about Mason Plumlee, but when coaches draw up plays, they draw them up a lot of times to cause confusion. And so when you watch Mason Plumlee in that spot, you see him pointing to Grant very, very early. Because if Mason Plumlee tries to go underneath the screen, he's got to sprint to underneath Brown. Jeremy Grant could get the steal. If you look at this, if Jeremy Grant, and what they say to basketball all the time, if there is no screen, then there is no defensive scheme. So no screen, no scheme. So if Jeremy Grant would have ran out at that moment, he would have had a steal. But you see these guys communicating. He's like, we're going to switch everything. But he can't switch at the level or else Bron gets to drive down for a layup and a back cut. That's why Rondo wants it. So he's got to go underneath. And look, at the end of the day, he hit this over a 6'11" person, and it was contested with a coach right behind you in front of the Nuggets bench. So I don't want to hear any of this. What was Mason Plumlee doing? Mason Plumlee ideally was doing what he is supposed to do in that moment. That means go underneath. Now, the other part about it is if he doesn't switch, then all of a sudden you have Bron. That's why coaches draw up those plays to cause confusion, and it was a great one.
Ramona, I was talking before about just Anthony Davis wanting these moments so badly. He said this was the biggest shot of his life. Where do you think it ranks for you in terms of what you've seen him do?
I think for him, because of the stage, because he wanted to be there. And let's go back to them wearing their Kobe jerseys. I'm always thinking about Kobe talking about, who was going to be the next standard bearer of this franchise, right? They would always go pursue free agents, whether it was Dwight Howard or Carmelo Anthony, and they wouldn't get them. And Kobe's response was always the same, is we shouldn't have to recruit you to the Lakers. The guy who's going to be at the face of the Lakers is going to want to be here. I shouldn't have to even pitch you. I shouldn't have to explain it to you. You have to want to be here, and you have to want to be in those moments. LeBron James wanted that moment. Anthony Davis wanted that moment. They wanted to be there. And Kobe's right. Like the person who takes on the face of the franchise for the Lakers, he's got to want to be that and everything that comes with it.
Absolutely. All right, coming up, we're going to switch to the other side of the bracket. The Celtics taking Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals on Saturday. What was the difference for them? We will discuss that. First, though, the latest edition of Jump at the Symphony with the maestro, Anthony Davis.